Yeah. Yeah. Morning all. So before I start, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether the screen is visible or not, right? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, fine. So today just I'll be entering into the basic technical part, right? Python data types. Data types, right? Yes. Every organization, take any use case, right? Every organization use case has got data and operations, has got data and operations. Data represented using data types or variables. Data represented using data types or variables. Operations represented using functions, right? Every organization use case has got data and operations. Data represented using data types or variables. Operations represented using functions. Just observe this, right? This diagram. Any organization, talk about any organization. For example, if I take the example of a bank, bank consists of what? Customers and employees. Customers and employees, right? Yes. Again, within the customers, we have got what? Customers. Data and operations. Data and operations. Data in the sense like what data? Customer name. Ajay. Account number, right? Balance. Data represented using data types or variables. This data represented using data types or variables. Operations, right? Like operations. Deposit operation. Operations using functions. Later we discuss about functions, but now as of now, data types are similarly for employees also. We have got like data and operations. Data, right? Employee name Rahul. Employee ID 101. Employee ID, employee name. Salary 80,000, right? Yes. Designation manager, right? Yes. And operations, what are the employee operations? Employee operations, right? Operations such as calculating tax, calculating HRA, house rent allowance, right? Calculating net salary. So this data represented using data types or variables. Operations using functions. So if you talk, bank consists of customers, employees, customers has got a data, customers has got operations, data such as customer name, account number, balance, address. Yeah, sorry, right. Operations like deposit, withdraw, transfer, they are represented using functions. And employees data, employee name, ID, salary designation, using data types or variables. Operations like tax, HRN, etc. No, observe. If I compare C or C++ or Java with Python, right? With Python, Python supports dynamic data types. Python supports dynamic data types. Means in other programming languages, like if you want to define some variables, compulsory the data type defining is mandatory. Index equal to 10, y equal to 4.5 means compulsory. I need to specify the data type. Z equal to hello, like if you want to see characters, strings, compulsory. I need to say string Z equal to, right? X has 10, Y has 4.5, Z has hello. But in the case of Python, no need to define this data types int or float or string. Directly, I can say X has 10, I can say Y has 4.5, Z has hello. Here, if you say what kind of variable X is, based on the data type defining, you are saying it is integer type. What kind of variable Y is, based on the data type defining, you are saying it is float type. So Z, what type of variable? String type. But here in Python, what kind of variable X is? What kind of variable X is means what value you are assigning to X. What value you are assigning to X. Based on the value assigned, the variable is going to get created dynamically during runtime. As you have assigned integer, type of X will be integer, right? What data type it is? Type of X is integer. There is a function in Python called type function to know the data type, right? Type of X is integer. Why it is integer? Because you have assigned a integer value. Type of Y is what type? Float. Float means something in decimals. As you assign float value, the type of Y will be float. Type of Z, there is type of Z. What is the type of Z? String type, str type, string, right? As you assigned a string value to it, it is string type, right? Fine. So now I'm going to discuss 4 cases. What happens internally whenever you define some variables, right? Yes. Observe this case 1. defining a variable. For example, x equal to 10. X equal to 10, if I'm defining some variable, right? Internally, one object gets created with value 10. An object with value 10 is going to get created. It's going to occupy some address, physical memory location address. Assume this is the address. This address is given to x. Now, what x is storing? What x is storing? Don't say like x is storing 10. X stores this address. X stores this address. Observe carefully. X equal to 10 means don't say like x is storing 10. X stores the address. You know, you are supposed to understand three things here. Print x. If I say print x, right? Print x means prints the content. Prints the content at that address, right? At that address. Whenever you say print x means it goes to that address and prints the content. That is what at that address, right? 10 goes to that address and prints the content at that address. But if I want to print the address where exactly it is stored, print id of x. There is a function called id function, right? Address of which variable? X variable. Prints the address of x. One 0 3070, right? Prints the address of x. Type of x will be prints the data type of x. Data type of x will be what? Integer type. Address of x, type of x, prints the data type of x. So three things. Print x means prints the content, address, id of x prints the address, type of x prints the data type of x. Okay, this is case one, defining a single variable. Now case two, observe this case two, defining multiple variables. So okay. Now everyone try to answer, right? I want the sessions to be interactive. So keep responding whether your answers are correct or wrong. So x equal to 10. So you can unmute yourself and you can just give your responses. Otherwise, you can give the response through short panel. X is 10, y is 20. Two variables are defined. How many objects are going to get created here? How many objects? Yes. Two, right? Yes. You can unmute and you can give your response through voice also, right?
Yeah, 2.
X equal to 10, right? Some address. This address is given to x. Y equal to 20, right? One object with value 20 gets created. It's going to occupy some address. That address is returned to y. Now print x. Now try to answer. What is print x? 10. It goes to that address and prints that the content, that is 10. Print id of x. Id means the address at 1070, right? Type of x. What is the data type of x? What value you are assigned to x? Integer value, right? Yes. Print y. Yes, everyone try to say print y.
20.
Print y is 20, right? Yes. Print address of y. Address of y is 104080. Type of y, print type of y, right? Integer type, right? Yes. Yes. Can check, right? There is a message given by online team, DURGASOFT online team, that say from tomorrow the link is going to be changed, right? So those who are enrolled, those who got registered only, they'll be getting the link from tomorrow, right? Regularly the class videos, the notes, everything, right? So for Python, only for Python it's 5, and for Python with a package with the Django, right, it's 9,000, right? So the payment details, payment process procedure, right? And once if you're done with the payment, you are supposed to provide a screenshot of the payment to DurgaSoft online trainings at the rate. They have given that mail ID also, right? And also you can make a note of this contact details for the future reference if you have got any queries related to the videos, the other things. Yeah. Fine. If you're not, if you have already paid, or now if you have paid, still if you have not got the link by today evening, right? Today evening by 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. you can just contact that contact numbers, right? Fine. Print x 10, print y 20, the address of x, the address of y, means here two different variables with two different values, two different variables with two different values, then two different objects gets created with two different addresses, right? Yes. Two different variables with two different values, then two different objects with two different addresses are going to get created, right? Now observe this case 3 now. Any query in case 1 or 2? Okay. Case 3. Now try to observe x value is 10, y is 10. X is 10, y is 10. Now try to answer how many objects are going to get created here. Everyone, right? How many objects are going to get created? Everyone. An object with value 10 gets created with some address. Observe carefully here. Only one object is going to get created here. Only one object gets created, not two objects. Before creating object for y, before creating object for first it checks any object with value 10 is already available or not. Any object with value 10 is already available or not. If available, the same address is given to y. Okay, only one object, right? Before creating object for y, it checks any object with value 10 is already available or not. If available, the same address will be given to y. Now x and y, x is 10, y is 10, z also 10, right? Three objects won't be created. Only one object gets created. Its address will be given to x, y, and z. X, y, and z, right? If x value 10, y is 20, z is 30. How many objects? 10, 20, 30. If x is 10, y is 20, z is 30. Three objects. But if it is 10, 10, 10, if the contents are same, one object. If contents are different, multiple objects. X, Y, and Z, they are going to share the same content and the address. I say like print X, print Y, print Z. All they are going to print 10 only, right? ID of X, ID of Y, ID of Z. Type of X, type of Y, type of Z. Integer type, right? All that they share the same content. Observe this case for. I'll show all these 4 cases practically, right? Yes, I'll be showing all these 4 cases. Case 4. X is 10, X is 20. Now try to answer how many objects going to get created here. X value is 10, X value is 20.
2.
10, one object gets created with value 10 with some address. For X equal 20 also one object gets created with some address. Now if I say print X, now try to answer. If I say print X, what is the X value it is going to print? It is 10 or 20? Everyone try to answer, right? If I say X equal print X, what value it is going to provide? 10 or 20? Before you answer, for example, your salary last year 50,000, your salary this year 80,000. Print salary, what it prints? 50 or 80?
80.
80 means what is your observation here? It always prints the latest value. If you say print X, prints the in the first line X value 10, in the second line X value 20. Print X, it prints what? The latest value. So it prints the 20, right? Latest value it prints. Print ID of X 104080. Type of X integer, right? Integer. But what happens to the previous one? It gets removed. Whenever X equal 20, then the previous X is going to get removed. For example, next line X equal to 30 means now X value is 30. Thus X equal 20 gets removed, right? Yes, X equal to 20 gets removed. Now how this removal happens, right? What happens to the previous object? Okay. Next is if I okay, it gets removed, right? Later we discuss about there is a concept called a garbage collector in Python. Removes unused or unreferred objects from the memory, right? Now I'll show you all these 4 cases practically now. First one. So whenever we install Python, right? Just observe here. Whenever we install Python, go to this Python where it is installed. Within that Python 3.10, you can see ideally, right? Integrated development environment. Click that. Python shell gets open in this way in interactive mode, where we can type any valid Python statements and interact with it. But I want to work with batch mode. File, new file. file, new file. I want to work with batch mode, right? Case one. This is comment in Python. Comment means not executable for our understanding. Case one. Defining a variable, right? Yes. Okay. X equal to 10. Print X, right? Print X. Print the type of X. Print X means 10 it prints. Type of X means what data type it is, integer type. Address where exactly it is stored in the memory, right? That address it is going to return. So I created a separate folder for this batch, right? Python 830. Run module, right? Run module. 10 what type? Integer type and its address. 10 is what? In 10 type is what? Integer, the address where it is stored. Now observe this case 2, right? Observe this case 2. Two different variables, defining two different variables with the two different values. Defining two different variables with two different values, then two different objects gets created. Two different objects gets created with two different addresses. With two different addresses, right? Defining two different variables with two different values, then two different objects gets created with two different addresses. X value is 10, Y value is 20, right? X is 10, Y is 20. Print X, type of X, address of X, and print Y, a type of Y, address of Y. I'll print both X and Y values here, their types and their addresses, right? Yes. Print Y, type of Y, and address of Y, right? Type of Y and address of Y. Can you please answer the address of X and address of Y? Will it be same or different?
Different.
Different, right? Because two different objects with two different addresses are created. Two different objects with two different addresses are created, right? Yes. X is 10, Y is 20. Print X, type of X, ID of X, print Y, type of Y, address of Y. Run module. See the addresses, right? 10 address and the address of 20. This is 10 address of 10, 20 address of 20. Two different, right? 10 and 20, two different values, two different addresses. Right. Now,
I have a question.
yes, go ahead.
So, you know how in Java, when you add in space between two sentences, you add a slash and an N? Is there a way to do it in Python?
Yes, in Python also the same, right? Yes, slash in, we have got slash in. Okay. For example, print GOOD, good. For example, so here in Python, it prints that value 10, and by default after printing, by default it will go to the next line, prints the value and goes to the next line. Here you see, if you see this, right, it is printing everything in different lines.
Yeah.
But it is not printing in the same lines, right? See the values, all the values, 7 values in 7 lines. Means what is happening here? Print X prints that value and control goes to the next line by default. Prints the type integer and goes to the next line. Prints the address and goes to the next line. Print Y goes to the next line. Print this one goes to the next line. Okay. By default, it prints and goes to the next line. By default, it has got print has got the slash in behavior. But anytime if you want to print, you can use print slash in also available. For example, print X comma Y. It prints in the same line, right? Run module X comma Y prints in the same line, right? Yes. 1020,
Okay.
1020, it's printing X comma Y. But X comma, for example, slash n comma Y, run module. It's going to the next line and printing the value, right? 10 and 20.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Slash
Thank
n.
you.
So we'll be discussing about those slash and escape sequences, right? Next, print behavior in that escape sequences in Python, right? So here 10 and 20, two different values, two different addresses, two different, okay. Now observe this case 3, right? Observe this case 3. Case 3 is what? Defining two different variables with same values. Defining two different variables with same values. Two different variables with same values. Then only one object gets created. Only one object gets created. Only one object gets created. And its address is returned. Both the variables. And its address is returned to both the variables. X is 10, Y also 10, right? X value is 10, Y also 10. Contents are same, only one object. Type of X, address of X, print Y, type of. Try to answer here. The address of X and address of Y, is it going to be the same or different here? Address of X and Y, is it going to be the same or different?
Same.
It should be same, right? It must be same, right? Because the contents are same. The contents are same. The address also should be same. They are sharing the same content and the address. Now observe this. Case 4, right? Case 4, defining two variables with same name, X and X. Two variables with same name. Two variables with same name but with different values. Case 4. Two variables with same name but with different values. Then two different objects gets created. Defining two variables with same name but with different values, then two different objects gets created, and the previous one gets removed. X is 10, X is 20. So X is 10, X equal to 20 means two different objects gets created and the previous one gets removed. This 10 gets removed, only 20 will be existing. Print X 20, type of X integer. The address of X means address of 20, right? Right, yes. So under observe this output, right? Run module. It always prints 20, the address of 20. That's 20 and is the address of 20. Understood these four cases, everyone? What happens internally whenever we defining some variables in Python? Print X, type of X, ID of X. If you want the address, or if you want the data type, or if you want the content value, right? Any queries in these four cases? Anyone? If I go, yes, any query?
Yeah. So if we again
Yes.
define the value of X equal to 10, so it
Hmm.
will pick the same memory location or
Uh,
different?
It might or it may not. Doesn't mean that it will take the same memory location. No. It depends. Now, if I go back to this case 3, right? X is 10, Y also 10. The address of X and Y same or different here in this case. Addresses of X and Y, everyone.
Same.
Same, right? If I give X as 10, Y as 10.0, address of X and Y same or different now?
Same.
So before you answer, try to answer. Here X is 10, Y is 10.0. Type of X is what type?
Integer.
Integer. Type of Y is what type?
Float.
Float. Means one is integer object created, one is float object created. How many objects created here?
Two objects.
Two objects with two different addresses, right? So address of X and Y, are they same or different?
Different.
Different, right? Types will be different. The addresses also will be different. Observe this output. 10 and 10.0 are not same. One is integer object, one is float object. One is integer and one is float. Okay, fine. Now, understood, right? 4 cases. Now coming to this data types, right? Data types in Python. Data types, they specify the type of data to be used. Data types are of two types. Fundamental data types collection data types. Fundamental data types means object holding single value, object holding single value. Example, X equal to 10, one object gets created with value 10 with some address. The address is given to X. So here object holding single value. So in the case of collection data types, here object to holding group of values or multiple values, collection of values, right? Collection data types, the name is saying collection of values, object holding group of values or set of values, right? Example, X equal to a square bracket 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. In the case of other programming, we say like array of elements, but here say list of values within the square bracket. So here also object gets created internally. Internally that values are going to get stored 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. This address is given to X. Object holding group of values, X equal to 10 to 50, right? That it is going to have some address. Assume 103090, that address is given to X. Here object to holding group of values, object to holding group of values. So fundamental data types, object holding single value, collection types, object holding group of values. There are fundamental data types, 5 types, mainly of 5 types. Integer, float, Boolean, string, complex. Integer nothing but something like age 25. Float, height 5.9, boolean, which is in the form of true or false. Boolean means true or false. Zero indicates false, one indicates true. True or false, right? Zero indicates false, one indicates true. String means somewhere city equal to Hyderabad, city equal to Hyderabad, right? Yes. Complex, right? X plus IY, but instead of I, we use J here in Python for imaginary part, right? So these things we'll be discussing in brief, but before that, what are the various collection data types? Collection data types mainly have 4 types. Okay. List represented using squared bracket means, like example, X equal to list of values 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Tuple by using normal braces. It also used for representing values y equal to tuple of values. Set by using curly bracket. Ten, 20, 30. Dictionary, last is what? Dictionary. Dictionary is something in the form of curly bracket only, but it should have key and value format. Example of this dictionary, right? Name Ajay, age 25, right? Yes. Means here this is key, this is value, this is key, this is value. City Hyderabad, city will be the key, Hyderabad will be the value. Key value representations, collection of key and value representation. Set collection of values only. This is collection of key values. Here tuple list. Fine, right? So 4 types of collections. And fundamental data types, 5 types: integer, float, boolean, string, and complex. Upset. So integer 4 cases, just now I was discussing that 4 cases in integers. Now float and boolean type, float and boolean data type. Float and boolean data type, right? Yes. X equal to 34.56, right? Print X prints that value as it is. Type of X will be what type, right? Type of X. Print X. Type of X will be what type? Float type. Address of X, where exactly it is stored, right? And similarly, for example, y equal to boolean value I'm giving. If you're assigning a float value to X, then type will be float. If I'm assigning integer 34, type will be integer. If I'm assigning true, a boolean type, then type of Y will be boolean type. Print Y, type of Y will be what type? Boolean type. run module. Observe here. 34.56 what type, float type, and its address. Print y, it's what boolean type, and it's what type, bool type. Next is strings. A lot of discussion on strings. For the next 2-3 days, we'll be discussing on strings only, like string indexing, string slicing, string functions, string methods, string special characters, right? String. What is a string? A string is a sequence collection of characters. It is a sequence a string is a sequence collection of characters. In Python, a string is represented in Python a string is represented using single quote, double quote, and triple quote. 3 ways, right? You can use single quote, double quote, and triple quote. Using triple quote. So anything, if you are specifying within single quote, double quote, or triple quote, it is a string. Single quote, double quote, and triple quote, right? Single, double, and triple quotes, right? So when to go for single quote, when to go for double and triple means for multiple lines of string, go for triple quote. For multiple lines of string, go for triple quote. For a single line, you can go either for single or double quote. Each character of a string, each character of a string is represented or accessed by a unique index. Each character of a string is represented and accessed by a unique index. String supports 2 types of indexes. String first one, forward index or positive index. For forward index or positive index. Backward index or negative index. String supports 2 types of indexes. Forward index or positive index, backward index or negative index, right? Starts from left to right. Index starts with 0. left to right, index starts with 0. Backward index or negative index, backward index or negative index, right, starts from right to left. Starts from right to left. Index starts with -1. Index starts from left to right. Index starts with 0. Backward index or negative index starts from right to left. Index starts with -1, right? Just multi lines of comment, right? Multiple lines, single line of comments with this hash. Multiple lines if you want to comment, give in triple quote, end with a triple quote. Okay, forward index or positive index starts from left to right. Index starts with 0. Backward index or negative index starts from right to left. Index starts with -1, right? Yes. Okay. So just observe this diagram, right? Yes. For strings, x equal to, within double quotes, I'm representing Python, right? X equal to Python. Internally, one object is going to get created. Internally, one object gets created. Within this, you can say like Python, 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 right? Yes. It is going to have some address. That address is given to X. Indexing, forward index, right, starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Forward index or positive index. Forward index or positive index. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. This backward index or negative index. Forward index or positive index, backward index or negative index, right? Yes. Forward index or positive, backward index or negative. What is the value of x of 2? Yes, x of 2 value is what? X is the string. Second index to value. X of 2 is what? T, right? X of -2 is what? O. X of 2 is T. X of -2 is what? O. So in this way, you can go for forward index or backward index, right? Positive index or negative index. Right. Okay. So more discussion on this we'll be discussing in the tomorrow session, right? So I'll stop here for today. Meet you tomorrow, more discussion on this. So tomorrow, as I said, so the link is going to be changed. So get enrolled and registered for getting that daily videos and daily notes and okay, the class link, the other thing. So already in the chart panel, you can see that the online team has forwarded the payment details and the procedure, right? Yes. Fine. Don't forget to send the screenshot. Fine. Okay. Fine. Okay. Any queries you have got? Any queries you have got as part of today's session? Anyone? Right. So I was just briefing you about like Python data types. So what happens internally whenever you're defining some variable, how to print their content, their types, their addresses, right? And types of data types, fundamental data types we're discussing, right? Later I'll come back to collections. Tomorrow same time 8:30 only. For tomorrow it will be same time 8:30 only, right? Yes.
What is the timing of the classes?
So tomorrow it will be 8:30, but your batch timing later it will be at 7:30 a.m. It starts at 7:30 a.m. right? 7:30 to 8:30. For tomorrow it will be 8:30. For tomorrow your class timing will be 8:30, right?
From Monday to Saturday or Monday to Friday?
Monday to Friday, right? Later, if I'm running out of days, I'll be taking Saturdays, right? I'll be pre-intimating if there is any session on Saturday, right? Monday to Friday only. X is 10, Y is 20, Z equal to 10. Only two objects, yes, Sneha, right? X is 10. For X and Z, only one object. For Y, another object. Yeah, tomorrow the link is changing, right? Yeah, Mustafa, right? Tomorrow the link will be changing. A new link means only if you are enrolled, if you are got registered, then only you'll be getting the link, right, to your mail ID, right? So get enrolled for it for getting the link. So the free session, right, completed. Tomorrow we'll be going with, right, paid link. Fine, okay. Tomorrow same at 8:30 it will be, the session will be at 8:30 tomorrow, right? Okay, fine. So I'm stopping here. We'll continue tomorrow, right? Yes.